Hi, first graders. So today we are going to be talking about bar graphs. And so we're going to talk about how to take data. Remember, we talked about how data is information about something specific and how to put it into a bar graph. And then we're going to talk about how to look at the bar graph to get information from it. Okay, so if you look over here on my screen, you can see that today, like I said, we're going to talk about how bar graphs help us compare information. And right here's our problem. So it says that these are the kinds of foods sold at the soccer game, okay? And this is on this blue big plate right here. That's how much food they sold at the soccer game, okay? And we are counting and graphing how much food they sold. But we're going to start with using counters to model the problem. So for hot dogs, we're going to use red counters. And we're going to use the red counters to go ahead and build our graph over here, and then we'll color the graph in a minute. So we just want to have them more organized so it is easier for us. Okay, so we're going to count the hot dogs, and what we're going to do is as I count the hot dogs, we're going to mark them off. That way we know we've already counted it. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so over here, hot dogs, which are in the middle of my graph over here, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so that's for hot dogs. All right, now let's move back over here and let's go ahead and go to, we'll do blue for the pizza. Why not, right? Actually, we can do yellow for the pizza, kind of like the cheese. Okay, let's count pizza. 1, 2, 3. All right, so we counted 3 for the pizza. So for pizza over here, which is yellow, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we're going to go back over here and let's do green for the tacos, like that yellow or like the green lettuce. And then ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so we'll take our green. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so now I've got my cubes over here, and this is kind of showing us a bar graph on our own, but we can also look back over here to make sure we have colored all of them. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to color through. We're going to color through the, sorry, I just want you to be able to see this at the same time. All right, we're going to color these cubes we have over here. We're going to color them on our graph. All right, so the first one on our graph is pizza. And remember, we did yellow for pizza. So we are going to use our yellow. And like we said over here, 1, 2, 3. So we're going to take our yellow and we're going to color in 3 boxes. Okay, so there's the first box. 1, 2. Okay, color this whole space all the way to 3. Okay, and the first strategy we use for coloring it in is just counting each box, right? So we counted all of the boxes, so we know that it's 3, but we could also look down the line and see that we did color in fact, 3 pizzas. All right, next is hot dogs, and we used red for hot dogs. So we want to make sure we use red so we can tell them apart. Okay, and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we did 5. Now, instead of counting every single box, I can simply go to the number 5, go up on the line, and make that line because I know that's how far my bar graph is going to go. Then I can take it all the way. I would just fill in this whole space. Mom is not very good at online drawing, is she? A lot more difficult than drawing in regular life. All right. Okay, and there's that graph right there. All right, now for our last one for tacos, we used green. So let's go ahead and go to green. And you can go ahead and think about how many tacos am I going to color in. Think about it for me for just a second. Okay, you can look over here to count them. If you said 4, you'd be correct. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll go ahead and color that in for us. Okay, 4 tacos. All right. So now we can look at the questions that go along with the problem. So that's our bar graph. And when you look at the bar graph, you know that on this side it shows the different kinds of food, the different options, and the top is the title, food sold at the soccer game. All right, that way if someone came over and said, how many hot dogs were sold at the soccer game, you could go to the bar graph, you could find hot dogs, you could go over to the number and you can say, oh, 5 hot dogs were sold at the soccer game. Okay, So it says, Dan keeps track of the food he sells at the soccer game. He sells all the food on the table. Make a bar graph to show the food Dan sells. Okay, so that's what we did. I just want to make sure. Okay, so that was the one we did. So I'm going to ask you another question. How many hot dogs and pieces of pizza were sold at the soccer game? Okay, so I want you to stop and think about that for just a second. Go ahead and pause the video if you need to count. And you could see over here, you would just count all the pieces of pizza and all the hot dogs. You can count it on our graph. So we have 5 hot dogs and 3 pieces of pizza. So you could just do 5 plus 3 more, which if we're using our counting on strategy, we know this is 5 already. So we start at 5, we hold 5 in our head, and we count on 3 more. 5, 6, 7, 8. So we would know 8 pieces of pizza and hot dog were sold all together. All right, so now this is the tricky question. Remember, we talked about this last week. I'm going to ask you the tricky question now. Are you ready? How many more hot dogs were sold than tacos? Okay, not how many hot dogs, not how many tacos, how many more hot dogs? Okay, and I want you to think, how did we talk about solving that problem last week? Think about it, because that's the tricky one. Think about it and come up with a strategy on your own. Okay, remember, we have 2 strategies we use for this problem. Okay, one of the strategies we use for this problem is we find partners, right? So we find partners. I'm going to use black to do that just to show it. So we're talking about hot dogs and tacos. So let's see, those blocks would be a partner, 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 and however many is left over, that's how many more hot dogs there were, right? So we know that there's 1 more. Our other strategy is using a subtraction problem, because if we take how many hot dogs we have all together and we take away the number of tacos there were, then whatever is left has to be how many more hot dogs there were, right? So we would start with 5 hot dogs. Let's go back over here. 5 hot dogs, and we're going to take away the 4 tacos. So let's take these away. Ready? Maybe. 1, 2, 3, 4. And how many did we have left? Just 1, right? All right, so that was great. Practice today. I'm hoping that this helps you with bar graphs, and I'm excited to see how you guys do on the assignment that I gave you for math today. All right? Okay.